Good morning. Give me just a moment. Things are resetting. Excuse me. What is happening? Put this away. Sorry, my computer's being weird. I need to figure out a better setup for the mic. It should be fine here. Anyway. So, as you might know, the Clangen streams, or I've finished the 10 years of the Clangen streams. And so the next step for that is getting art done for it. But I wanted to give people another day to let me know if I have permission to use their art before I write down before I gather all the characters that need to be drawn and start assigning things and drawing myself. So I'm gonna do we're back to the status quo of me just sitting here and yammering on about my OCs. And we're back with a new story. I see you know what's happening. Because I've been talking about it for a bit. I don't know who I'm gonna start drawing. I'll be honest, I'm not in the biggest mood to draw, but I couldn't think of anything else to do, so I'm gonna do little doodles. And I guess I'll start here with Appleburn and Husktooth. I don't know if I ever said it, but I got a new desk and everything is set up weirdly. You know what? I will do that. I will talk about Sun, Moon, and Morning instead. I was gonna make something with them, so I've got a big sheet with the whole family on it. I'm gonna draw them anyway, because it has been so long since I drew that reference for Moon Hollow. I haven't drawn, besides Black Eclipse, I haven't given myself the opportunity to draw any of them. And besides, I'm still a little mad. Yay, yesterday. I was mad because Toy House deleted like a whole thing of writing I did. And the reason that's relevant is because it was a scene between Moon Hollow and Sunrise, and it came out so good, and it's gone forever into the ether. And so I have to write it again. And it's not gonna be the same, but it's fine. It's not gonna be the same, but you know what? I'm gonna make it even better. I say skeptically. But yeah, we'll start with these guys, because I have quite a bit to say about them. Let me try to warm up my hand and the computer, because it can get laggy. Anyway. Also, I've still not... Well, let me try. Oh. Yeah. Give me just a second. As I... Oh. What is happening? Why is it doing that? Give me just a second. Why are you doing that? She still doesn't work anyway. Okay. Don't know why that happened. Anyway, I was just trying to... Light Echo's still dead. That's the moral of that. She tried to fight me for trying to bring her back. Anyway. So, what to say about... Where to start with these guys? Drawing-wise, I'm gonna start with Moon Hollow. So I really don't know where to start. I guess I'll start with the fact that Moon Hollow give me a second. My brain is not... I guess I'm not awake yet, because my brain is not making words. So, Sunrise, Moon Hollow, and Morning Dusk are foliage clan cats born to Black Eclipse and Nightblaze. They all have the same father, but Sunrise and Moon Hollow were born to the same mother, Black Eclipse, I believe. I don't feel like looking at my notes. Anyway. So, before the disappearances, I guess I should... You know what? Before I actually get into talking about any of the characters, let me just say the plot of the story before... in case people don't regularly look at my DeviantArt posts, or if you just don't know. So this story is temporarily, it's not quite so temporary, but I haven't thought of a better name yet, is temporarily being called Apprentices Alone. And the premise is that all of the cats older than 12 moons old suddenly disappear. That ear is way too big. So yeah, they suddenly disappear and so the clan is left with young cats. The oldest cat there being Husktooth, who was so lucky and hit 12 moons old the day after the disappearances. So he is... yeah, he's the oldest one there. Otherwise, it's 11 moons and under. And so the whole story is focused on how these young cats deal with suddenly having to run their clans. And their normal access to StarClan is locked behind one cat, White Raven, who is running the whole of her clan because she's the highest ranked, and she is like one of the high ranks technically because she's a healer's apprentice. And so her clan looks to her, and she doesn't really have time for anything. And besides granting her her name, StarClan has been pretty quiet. Instead, since the normal means of reaching out haven't worked, StarClan is reaching out through randomly selected cats. They chose a cat from each clan to give like a prophecy to and kind of give warnings, but something messed up. Something didn't work when they did that, and so each of the chosen cats is getting a different message. I don't know why this ear isn't coming out. Sir, why is your ear being bad? But they're each getting fractured pieces of the same message. And Moon Hollow is one of those cats. I haven't decided if they're all getting the prophecy, but getting different bits of, like, warnings, omens, I guess. I haven't decided how that works yet. Anyway, the big thing about the story is the kits and apprentices learning how to survive without adults, and also whether they're trying to survive and StarClan would like them to stick together and keep the clans alive. But that's hard when you have a bunch of teenagers running the thing. So, Moon Hollow is one of those cats that received visions. He's a bit of a nervous guy, so he gets those visions and they're like not nice. Come on, quit lagging, thing. I don't know why my computer's deciding to lag right now. Anyway, he starts getting pretty scary visions, and parts of the visions that he's getting, he sees who he thinks are his sisters, and that kind of just makes things worse, because he can't completely decipher why they are in his visions. He just knows that what he's seeing doesn't look very good. And he withdraws from his sisters, who Morning Dusk, he withdraws from, or he reconnects with quicker, because she's not in as many of his visions. But Sunrise, he has a harder time reconnecting with. So he's pretty much silently trying to figure all this out, and he is found by Half Paw, or Half Panther, who kind of picks him out and tells him to come to the gathering place at sunrise in 3 days. And so he does, and he discovers the other 4 cats receiving prophecies, omens, stuff. One of which, well, that doesn't matter right now. So, these cats begin to work together to, decipher the prophecy and decipher these omens. Whatever. Where was I? Yeah, so I drew it on the wrong layer. But yeah, so he meets the other, I've been calling them prophecy seers or vision seers or something. I haven't thought of a good name yet. Names are hard. But he also confides in not only them, but his, I'm trying to think how to describe their relationship. He confides in Field Mouse, or Field Paw. He doesn't take his suffix until after this moment. So he confides in Field Paw, who is Foliage Clan's acting leader, as well as someone Moonpaw has always looked up to. And so they work together to decipher things. And eventually Moonpaw also confides in Morning Paw. The one he does not yet confide in is Sunpaw, who has, because he spent those moons freaking out by himself and essentially ignoring her, she has pettily decided to ignore him. And so that's how life goes until things come to a head, and Foliage Clan ends up in a battle with Reservoir Clan. And I will talk about that battle in a moment. But first, I want to talk about the other siblings. So, as I said, Sunpaw has been ignoring her brother because he ignored her. She has a very set way of thinking, and she doesn't like deviating from what how she's decided the world works. And that includes small things like my siblings should always be available for my feelings. If they're not, then I'm not going to be available for them, to this is the way that StarClan works, and no one can tell me otherwise. So, yeah, that's how she kind of is. And because Moonpaw was dealing with his own things and not dealing with her stuff, she fell back on Morning Paw and some of her friends. And that all goes fine until that battle. And I will leave you in suspense as I switch over to talking about the third sibling, Morning Paw. Morning Paw has always been a shy, reserved cat, especially compared to her siblings. She's not huge on confrontation, and her siblings ignoring each other and then getting into fights, because they're not just ignoring each other, they're getting on each other's nerves as well. But that all kind of causes her to drift, almost. She starts going out on walks. I don't know how to properly segue into this, but this is important information. She decides to go on a walk for her mental health. And just kind of trailing the borders and stuff. And she meets on one of those walks. She runs into Reservoir Clan's acting leader, Turtle Bay, who is just kind of, he's sitting there on the border, and he looks kind of sad. So, Morning Paw, who is too nice for her own good, goes up and talks to him, and they form a friendship. I'm trying to decide what pose I want to put Sunrise in. I can't decide, so I'll draw Sunny. Or, I'll draw Morning first. Anyway, they strike up a friendship, and they frequently meet up and they talk about their fears and their worries, how much they miss their families, because while Moon Hollow and Sunrise were always really close, Morning was always pretty close to their parents, especially Nightblaze. She had a very close relationship with Nightblaze, and now that they're not here anymore, it's a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, they talk about their families. They even begin talking about their dreams and like the future, kind of. And Morning Paw, as she earns her name Morning Dusk, throughout the moons that they meet up, she starts feeling a little more than friendship. But all of that peace and niceness is brought to a halt as Reservoir Clan and Foliage Clan fight. So a battle ensues, and I'm going to be switching perspectives pretty quickly. So, on Moon Hollow's side, in the middle of the battle, he spots golden and black fur, and he meets up with Half Panther, and they both know that this battle was part of their omens, and they each catch on to different pieces of it. Moon Hollow catches on to I can't remember what I decided the words were. Anyway, the prophecy is about, or the warning was about a mouse being caught, and Moon Hollow realizes that is referring to Field Mouse, and so he rushes away. And on Half Panther's side, the thing she catches on to is the bay drying up. And so she races off in the direction of Turtle Bay. And while they're doing that, we cut to Morning Dusk. In the middle of the battle, and she gets caught by a warrior. I don't remember who. I decided it was gonna be. Anyway, she's caught in the middle of the battle. She is losing her fight, and across the clearing, Turtle Bay notices, and he rushes to help her and fight off his own clanmate. Meanwhile, Sunrise also notices, and as she's rushing to save her sister, she doesn't skip over the fact that Reservoir Clan's acting leader, who has been nothing but hostile towards Foliage Clan, is running straight towards his clanmate who's attacking Morning Dusk. And so Sunrise comes to the conclusion that Morning Dusk is in danger, and she attacks both cats and ends up wounding the cat that was originally attacking Morning, and killing Turtle Bay. And as she is turning around looking for threats, Morning Dusk gets up and goes to check on... She goes sobbing, checking on Turtle Bay, but it's too late. He will not survive without a healer, and without an experienced healer, and the clans don't have that. Even White Raven, who has training, was only 9 moons old when the adults disappeared, and she just does not... She's not even here. Prairie Clan isn't here. And the clans that are, just, he's not able to be saved. And this act completely shatters any relationship that Sunrise and Moondusk had. Moondusk? Morning Dusk. Because it's not just because of what Sunrise did, but because she doesn't admit what she did as wrong, even though she can see that her sister is, like, hysterical and, like, crying over this cat. Sunrise makes no effort to console or apologize. She just kind of acts like she made the right decision, even though she knows she made the wrong one. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to articulate. Anyway, the main thing is that Sunrise refuses to acknowledge that she made the wrong choice. And Morning Dusk is sad that a cat that she loved is no longer. And especially since it was at the hands of her own sister. So after the battle, well, no, there's still another part of the battle that I have to talk about, and that's cutting back to Moon Hollow. Moon Hollow rushes to find Field Mouse, but he is too late. Reservoir Clan's acting deputy, Sharkbite, has already gotten to Field Mouse and was not nice. And so, as Field Mouse is dying, he turns to Moon Hollow and says some encouraging words, just kind of it's alright, we tried our best kind of thing. And then Moon can't tell whether it actually happened or if it was just his brain making the connection. But Field Mouse utters the words, or he recites the prophecy bit, specifically, the moon will rise. And then this is actually what something Field Mouse said. He said that he wanted Moon Hollow to take over and be the acting leader. And so now we end the battle on a bad note. No one is happy about the situation that just occurred. But now the siblings are even more separated than they were before. Morning Dusk, in her grief, refuses to talk to her sister, and so Sunrise tries to reach out to Moon Hollow, but he's busy running a clan. And the lack of anyone to talk to is making Sunrise panicky. Alongside the fact that, like, she ended someone's life. She's not okay with what she did, but she doesn't want to admit to herself that what she did was wrong and that she made a bad choice. So she has elected to push everything away. She's elected to push things to the side, and she needs someone to take those feelings. But of course, Morning Dusk doesn't want to. And so her only option is Moon Hollow. And they eventually do talk, but it ends up in a pretty big fight. Because, part of why it ends up in a fight is, up to this point, Moon Hollow has still not told Sunrise, about the visions and the prophecy. He has at this point told Morning Dusk, and that happened before the battle and everything. But yeah, up to this point he has not told Sun about the prophecy or anything. And he finally does. In this conversation, Sunrise brings up the fact that he avoided her, and that he had every opportunity to fix their, to come to her. Even when she was ignoring him, she still would have connected with him if he had bothered. And so he admits to her that because she was in his visions and he wasn't sure what everything meant, and he didn't want to bring it up until he was sure. And quoting that now lost writing that I am going to rewrite because I need to. Anyway, quoting the no longer existing writing, Sunrise's response is, "That's it? You avoided me for 6 moons because of some bad dreams?" And that was not a good response. And so Moon Hollow tries to explain that no, it wasn't bad dreams, it was visions that she was in. And her response, an even worse one, is, right, StarClan gave you visions. Why would StarClan talk to you? And that ends up in Moon Hollow berating her. I'm actually run out of time, unfortunately. So I will leave you with that. Ooh. Like I said, I'm probably gonna spend some of today rewriting that thing I wrote, which will have the conversation I just talked about. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow. I haven't decided what yet. It'll either be more of this sketching, or it'll be working on the Clangen video. But yeah, have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!